Everybody. So I kind of took a break for Christmas time. It was a super busy season, as I'm sure many people can relate to. So I am kicking my butt in gear and getting back on track with everything that I need to be doing, such as this YouTube channel and podcast. So with that being said, I want to jump right in and get to a topic that I promised I would talk about in a previous video, which is what's the difference between different types of agents, and what is their roles and what does that mean? What is a buyer's agent? What's a selling agent? What's a listing agent? What's a broker? What's a realtor? Like, what is all of that stuff, and what does it mean to you as a consumer? And also, what does it mean to you as an investor? So let's just jump right in and get to it. So, all right, let's break this down. Okay, so typically you have a listing agent and a buying agent. And sometimes in Florida anyway, they can be the same person and they'll be called a transaction broker. I'll get to that in a minute. So let's just keep it simple right now. Listing agent, buying agent. Anyways, the listing agent will typically be the person who lists your home for sale, and they will do all the marketing. They will represent you to sell your house. They will market your house. They will handle showings. They should help you get your house ready to list, as far as doing any maintenance items, repairs, help you get it show ready. That's the other thing. They should develop a marketing plan, and they should handle scheduling showings for your home in coordination with you. And then once you get the contract, they'll help you negotiate the contract and then get you the closing. Okay, so then the buyer's agent. The buyer's agent will help a buyer find a house. So they will search for properties, and then they will find a house a buyer likes. They'll place the offer, and then they will guide the buyer through the process of purchasing the home. So from the time they meet, it's going over finding a lender, once they're under contract, getting inspectors, insurance, working with the lender, doing all the things that the contract requires from, contract to closing. So with that being said, that's the difference between a listing agent and a buying agent. So what is a broker? Ooh, okay, so here's how that works. A broker is the person who owns the real estate company. So they have a broker license. Now in Florida, and everything I'm going to talk to you about is in reference to Florida, because that's where I'm licensed at as a realtor, and that's what I know. So in Florida, to become a licensed broker, you have to have been a realtor for 2 years. Or let me back that up a little bit. There's a difference between a realtor and a real estate agent. So in Florida, to be a broker, you have to be a real estate agent for 2 years. You have to have a real estate license for 2 years, okay? And then if you decide, you can become a broker, and you take the class, and then you take the test, and then you have your broker license. And then at that point, you can have realtors or real estate agents underneath your license. So then that's when you could own a company. So you might see like Caldwell Blinker, or in my case, Better Homes and Garden Real Estate. So that company is owned by a broker. And then each broker has licensed real estate agents underneath them. So as far as that goes, I think a lot of people are like, well, I'm a broker. It does mean they did extra schooling, but it doesn't necessarily mean they know more. Like, I've had my license for 10 years. I'm not necessarily interested in management. So getting a broker's license isn't something that I want to do. But there's definitely additional things that they have to know Like they have to know about escrow accounts and managing that. So it really just depends on what you want to do. If you want to go get that broker's license versus just a real estate license. If Now there are brokers who work underneath a broker. You don't have to own a company to have a broker license. So that's one of the little caveats there. Have I sufficiently confused everybody yet? Okay. Yeah, maybe. Okay, I don't know. All right. So, broker, listing agent, buying agent. Okay, hope that makes sense. A lot of times, there's the listing agents and buying agents can be called different things, but it basically comes down to those two categories. So, what is a transaction broker? In Florida, you're automatically deemed a transaction broker unless you opt to be deemed something else, such as a single agent. I guess the easiest way to define a transaction broker is basically, this sounds weird, but you're not necessarily working for the seller or the buyer, you're working for the transaction, is an easy way to describe it, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense, but let me give you an example because I tend to understand things better when I get an example. So one of the examples that I like to use is when you are selling a house and you've hired me to be your realtor and you tell me, Kristen, I want to list my house for $300,000, but I actually would take like $250,000. I can't tell nobody that. I can't go and tell the world, hey, Sally Sue will actually take $250,000 for her house. I can't do that. So I would have to, protect the seller in that way by not disclosing information that I learned. Now, I did tell you earlier that the listing agent and the buying agent can be the same person. Oh my goodness, how does that work out? So in the same scenario, if I'm representing a seller, I'm listed their house for sale, and I have a buyer that is like, this is the perfect house for them. So I tell the buyer, hey, I think you should buy this house over here. It's perfect for you. But now I'm representing both the seller and the buyer. As a transaction broker, I can't disclose what either party tells me to the other party unless I have been authorized to do so. So if seller says, oh, I would actually take $250,000 for this house, and buyer says, oh, I'd actually offer $320,000, I can't tell either party that information without the consent of the other one. So it's just being a good person, just not being ethical, doing the right thing. It can get weird and a little challenging sometimes, when you get into like negotiations, but I find that it's not as hard as it seems when you go in with the right mindset and motivations, and when you're looking to do the best for people out there. And ultimately, the whole goal is to get to closing, table, and at a point where both the buyer and the seller are happy with what they've received. So I hope that was perfectly clear. Maybe it wasn't, and maybe I should have wrote down notes or something instead of just winging it. But I hope that made sense. I hope that I cleared up some of the mystery behind broker, listing agent, realtor, or buying agent. And then, so what is the difference between a real estate agent and a realtor? Well, there's a big difference, and that is that a licensed real estate agent has taken a test. They have passed, or they passed the course, they've taken the test, and now they have a license. A realtor has taken the course, passed the test, and they joined their association of realtors. So normally there's 3 levels. So you have your local, your state, and your national. And most people are familiar with the National Association of Realtors because it's a very big organization. So what does that mean? Well, that means that we're bound by a higher level of ethics and principles that we have to follow. And if there is a violation, we could lose access to the association. And many of the tools that make realtors effective are tied to that membership. So if you want to have all the tools that you really need to be a good real estate agent, or you need to be a realtor. For example, my easiest example for this to make sense is, remember how I said earlier you can represent both the buyer and the seller in Florida as a transaction broker? Well, the benefit to that is that you normally would receive the commission that both the selling or the listing and the buying agent would receive. So you're going to get double the amount of money. So when you add that kind of money into a transaction, there's a lot of people out there that would want to take advantage of that. So one of the rules that we have, and I'm just using this as an example. So I find Mrs. Smith and she wants me to sell her house. Well, I put her house on the market, and then I tell other realtors that contact me that they can't see the house. And I wait for someone to contact me or wait for my own buyer to come and see the house, and so they can purchase the home. And I've told all these other agents, nope, I'm sorry, you can't look at the house. That's really bad, right? First off, it's bad for Mrs. Smith, the seller, because she's not going to get the most amount of buyers into her home, which could potentially mean that she's missing out on an amazing offer that these buyers could be offering her. So in that case, that would be a violation of the ethics that we're bound to, and I could potentially be kicked out for that. So that would be a really bad thing. So that's really the big difference between a realtor and a licensed real estate agent. And as a licensee, you would think that there's rules against that, but there is not. That is an association level thing, being a member of the realtors. A realtor. So I hope that all made sense and that you have a better understanding of the different roles. I'm sure I missed something here, so if you're watching this or listening to it, definitely shoot me a message and let me know if you need more clarification. Well, I'm really excited about going forward with the new year, and I'm excited for 2022, and I hope that I can hold myself down to a schedule and get this post out to you every Friday, and give y'all some great information. All right, until next time, bye guys. See y'all later.